Tariffs are back in the spotlight, no longer just a topic for economists or business insiders. Today they're making headlines and sparking debates in living rooms, grocery stores, and workplaces across the country. Tariffs have become a major issue shaping your wallet, influencing what you pay for everyday essentials, and even the choices you make as a consumer. At its core, a tariff is a tax on imported goods, charged at the border to make foreign products more expensive. This means that everything from electronics to clothing and even some foods can cost more if tariffs are in place. The goal? To protect American industries and jobs by encouraging people to buy American-made products. Supporters argue that tariffs help local businesses compete and keep manufacturing jobs at home. But the reality is far more complicated. Tariffs impact prices, jobs, and the entire economy. When costs go up for businesses, those increases often get passed on to you, the consumer. Lawmakers are now debating whether to keep, expand, or roll back these taxes. The decisions they make could reshape the economic landscape for years to come. Supporters say tariffs level the playing field and fight unfair trade, even if it means higher prices now for long-term gains. They believe it's a necessary step to ensure America's economic strength and independence. Critics warn that tariffs disrupt supply chains, raise costs for businesses, and hit families with higher prices on everyday goods. They argue that these policies can lead to shortages, layoffs, and financial stress for millions. In a global economy, isolating the U.S. with tariffs can cause widespread economic pain, affecting not just our country but trading partners around the world. This debate isn't just about trade policy, it's about your cost of living, your family's budget, and the direction of our entire economy. The choices made in Congress will affect everything from groceries to cars and the jobs available in your community. Every decision has a ripple effect that touches your daily life. Understanding tariffs is crucial. They're not just a political issue but a force already shaping your financial reality. Being informed helps you navigate these changes and make smarter choices. The conversation in Washington is, at its core, a conversation about your bottom line. As the debate continues, it's more important than ever to pay attention, because the outcome will impact you, your family, and the future of our economy. Tariffs are a hidden tax. Unlike income or sales tax, you don't see them on your bill, but you still pay. They're quietly built into the price of everyday items, making it easy to overlook their impact on your wallet. When a U.S. company imports goods, it pays the tariff at the border, raising the cost before the product even hits the shelves. This fee is collected by customs, and it immediately makes imported goods more expensive for businesses. That extra cost gets passed along the supply chain, importer to wholesaler, wholesaler to retailer, retailer to you. Each business in the chain adds its own expenses and profit margin, compounding the original tariff's effect. Each step adds its own markup, amplifying the original tariff. By the time the product reaches the store, the price has grown far beyond the initial tariff amount. By the time you buy that bicycle, the price is much higher, but there's no line item saying tariff. The cost is hidden, buried in the final price you pay at checkout. You might blame the store or inflation, not realizing trade policy is driving up prices. It's easy to point fingers at retailers or manufacturers, but the real culprit is often invisible. This stealth tax hits working families hardest, raising the cost of essentials without transparency. Everyday necessities like food, clothing, and household goods all become more expensive, stretching family budgets even thinner. Tariffs quietly drain your wallet, making everyday goods more expensive. Over time, these small increases add up, leaving you with less money for other needs or savings. The impact is real, even if it's invisible. You may not notice it on a single shopping trip, but over months and years, the extra costs become significant. Businesses can't absorb these costs forever. They pass them on to you. If they tried to cover the tariffs themselves, many would struggle to stay afloat, so the burden shifts to consumers. The result? Higher prices on everything from bikes to groceries. Even products made in the U.S. can become more expensive if they rely on imported parts or materials. Tariffs are a tax on consumption, and you pay the price. Every time you shop, you're contributing to this hidden tax, whether you realize it or not. The effect ripples through the economy, touching every household. No matter where you live or what you buy, tariffs have a way of finding their way into your daily expenses. It's a tax you never see but always feel. The next time you notice prices creeping up, remember? Tariffs might be the invisible hand in your wallet. That's how tariffs sneak into your wallet, quietly, consistently, and without warning, affecting your finances every day. The cost of a tariff doesn't stop at the port. It multiplies as products move through the supply chain. Importers pay the tariff, then mark up prices to cover their costs. Distributors and wholesalers add their own markups, compounding the increase. By the time a product reaches the retailer, the original tariff is buried under layers of added cost. Even domestic producers may raise prices, knowing their foreign competition is now more expensive. The result? Across-the-board price hikes and fewer choices for consumers. Tariffs don't just make imports pricier, they give cover for higher prices everywhere. The ripple effect means you pay more, no matter what you buy. In the end, tariffs inflate prices throughout the entire market. When tariffs hit, businesses face a tough choice. Absorb the cost or raise prices. Some try to swallow the extra expense to keep customers, but that quickly eats into profits. Absorbing costs means less money for hiring, expansion, or even staying afloat. Eventually, most businesses have to pass the cost to consumers, often through higher prices or subtle changes like shrinkflation. Even large companies can't absorb tariffs forever. They'll cut elsewhere or raise prices. Tariffs create uncertainty, forcing businesses to focus on survival instead of growth. The intended target may be foreign producers, but it's American companies and workers who feel the squeeze. In the end, the cost lands on your shoulders disguised as inflation. Tariffs weaken the very businesses they're supposed to protect. The Federal Reserve fights inflation by adjusting interest rates, but tariffs create a different kind of problem. Tariff-driven inflation comes from higher production costs, not overheated demand. The Fed can't lower the price of imported goods or fix supply chain shocks. Raising interest rates to fight tariff inflation risks, slowing the whole economy without solving the root issue. Businesses face higher costs and uncertainty, making it harder to invest or hire. Tariffs create bottlenecks and delays that monetary policy can't fix. The real problem lies in trade laws, not interest rates. The Fed can manage fallout, but it can't undo the damage caused by tariffs. Tariff inflation is a policy choice, not a market cycle. Only Congress and the administration can address the source. Businesses can't just absorb tariff losses, they have to adapt. Many diversify supply chains, seeking suppliers in countries not hit by US tariffs, even if it means higher costs or lower quality. Some redesign products to avoid tariffed components, sometimes sacrificing features or quality. Others spend time and money applying for tariff exemptions, navigating complex regulations instead of innovating. Legal workarounds and lobbying become a new cost of doing business. Some companies move production to other countries, not always back to the US, but to places like Vietnam or Mexico. Shifting operations is expensive and disruptive and not always possible for every industry. The result is higher costs, less stability, and more red tape. Tariffs force businesses to focus on survival, not growth. The global supply chain gets more complicated and more costly for everyone. In the end, consumers pay the price for this costly reshuffling. Tariffs do bring in revenue for the US Treasury, but at a steep cost. The money collected is far outweighed by the economic damage: higher prices, lost jobs, and slower growth. Tariffs force companies to make inefficient choices, like switching suppliers or cutting investment. The result is less hiring, more layoffs, and a chill on business expansion. The uncertainty of trade wars discourages long-term planning and investment. While the government's balance sheet may look better, the broader economy suffers. The gains are concentrated, but the pain is widespread, felt by families and businesses everywhere. Tariffs are an inefficient tax causing more harm than good. The short-term revenue boost is an illusion, masking deeper economic pain. In the end, we're taxing ourselves and hurting our own prosperity. Policymakers now face a choice: reform tariffs or remove them. The first path aims to make tariff rules clearer and more predictable, reducing uncertainty for businesses. This could help companies plan, but doesn't fix the core problem. Tariffs still raise prices. The second path is to lower or eliminate tariffs entirely, removing the self-imposed tax on American families and businesses. Advocates say free trade leads to lower prices, more innovation, and greater prosperity. This approach would mean repealing recent tariffs and recommitting to global trade agreements. The debate is about more than policy. It's about the future of the US economy. Do we keep tariffs as a tool, or move toward open trade? The outcome will shape prices, jobs, and growth for years to come. The choice is one of the most important economic decisions facing the country. Its impact will be felt in every household. At the heart of the tariff debate is a simple question: what truly helps American families thrive and build a secure future? Every day, families across the country make tough choices about how to spend their hard-earned money, balancing needs and dreams. Tariffs make life more expensive, especially for working and middle-class households. When tariffs are added to imported goods, the prices of everyday essentials like groceries, clothing, and household items go up, straining family budgets. Higher prices on essentials mean less money left over for savings, education, or emergencies. Families may have to cut back on activities, delay important purchases, or dip into savings just to get by. The promise of protecting jobs often falls short. Tariffs may save a few, but cost many more across the economy. When businesses face higher costs, they may reduce hiring, cut hours, or even lay off workers, making it harder for families to find stable employment. A truly pro-worker policy would foster growth and job creation without self-imposed taxes. Policies that encourage innovation and investment help create better opportunities for everyone. Making tariff rules clearer helps, but doesn't solve the problem. Families still pay more at the register, and the burden remains on those who can least afford it. The most direct way to help is to lower or eliminate tariffs, cutting costs for businesses and consumers alike. This means more affordable goods and more money in people's pockets. Removing tariffs acts as a tax cut, boosting purchasing power and easing inflation. When families can buy more with their income, everyone benefits. It restores competition, drives innovation, and supports long-term prosperity. Businesses can grow, hire more workers, and invest in the future. For American families, open trade and lower tariffs offer the clearest path to a better future, one where opportunity and security go hand in hand. The evidence is clear. Prosperity grows when trade barriers fall, and families are given the freedom to pursue their dreams.